Hi everyone, this is Fiona at Drawings in a Drawer and welcome back to my channel. Sorry I'm late again, I've been away but I'm back now. I'm just diving into things straight away today. So this is a paper I'm going to be painting on. You will see me painting on this in a while. It's Arches cold press and it's really a wonderful paper. But before we do that, I wanted to show you how I actually draw the nose, which can be quite tricky if you don't break it down into basic shapes. As usual, you will find the full-length narrated tutorial for this on my Patreon, starting at the $5 a month upwards tier. So you can check that out at the link down below if you're interested, and if you want to connect with me, you will find me on Instagram at the handle Drawings in a Drawer. But now let's talk about noses. Drawing the nose can be quite scary until we break it down into basic shapes. I like starting from a triangular shape and then I add like 3 spheres at the bottom, a larger one in the center and 2 smaller ones on either side, and then I erase the lines I don't need, and actually it becomes quite easy to draw the nose if you're using this technique. Also, if you're drawing the nose in profile, you can use the same method, starting from a triangular shape and then basically going into the details as you move along in your process. I like adding a point of reference like the eye socket or the top of a lip, just because it helps me kind of put everything into proportion and understand where things sit in relation to each other.
When we get there, we'll throw a big feast with pina coladas, hand in hand.
Once you've understood how to draw the basic shape of the nose, then of course you can build up from there, because noses do come in all shapes and sizes. So you can build the bone structure, which can be like slightly bumpier, or there can be more cartilage in certain noses. We can have fleshier noses, slimmer noses, every kind of nose. And you just kind of work your way from that basic bone structure that we talked about in the beginning. I pre-wet the paper with a large brush, slightly tinted with a little bit of colour that was left in my palette, just because I didn't want it to look like I had a series of floating noses on my watercolour pad.
Let's leave this place for another place.
Like other areas of the human anatomy, the nose has warmer and cooler tones in it. We have lots of capillaries close to the nostrils, so usually that area will be red or more red or warmer. I like starting off with reds and pinks here to break the ice, and then spreading them out with a clean damp brush, starting to build up layers. And of course we will have cooler tones, for example on the bridge of the nose where the bone is closer to the skin and we have less blood flow. I add the lip in here because, as I mentioned earlier, I like adding a point of reference to understand the distance between the features in the face. And I also alternate between painting wet and wet, usually more towards the beginning of my process, and painting wet and dry as I go further on in my work. The darkest value in the nose is of course in the nostrils, but I wouldn't use black for this. Here I used a mix of neutral tint and Indian red. It does look pretty dark, but it's not as opaque as black. And also you have to keep in mind that there are transitions of values within the nostril. It's not all the same value. It's not like one dark blob or like tunnel area, but you have to imagine it's like a tunnel with light shining through it. Very often, indeed, light shines through the side of the nostril, the cartilage. And I add highlights with white acrylic gouache. Here I did this dot motion, which is something that I haven't really done much in the past, but I really like. It helps achieve a more natural effect, and I did it for all the noses in this footage. Just a little side note here, I was reminded of how much I dislike drawing directly onto watercolour paper, especially cold press paper, because if you make a mistake and you have to erase it, then we are left with smudges and ripped paper, which is not ideal. So I usually prefer to transfer my sketches onto watercolour paper. But now let's go back to talking about these noses.
And pina coladas with pretty faces and sand on the ground. I wanna stop this ongoing train before I lose my mind and go insane. I don't wanna sleep every night. I want a light, a spark in the dark.
I painted this nose in profile and it's slightly different in shape, and again it's Timothée Chalamet's nose. Now, it's not my fault really. I just went on Pinterest and typed in nose in profile and his portrait, his reference image came up. So it's him yet again. Here I used mint, which is that bluish colour by White Nights, because I wanted to add that cooler colour towards the bridge of the nose, and it was quite evident in the image. And also I used a blue to add that shadow at the top of the nose where we start seeing the indentation of the eye socket. The overall colours that I used for the skin tone are more kind of yellowish and orangey, because he has a more sallow skin tone compared to the one in the previous nose.
When we get there, we'll throw a big feast with pina coladas, hand in hand, not out of reach. Higher, yeah, we'll be lighter, happier and much brighter. Take the step, have no regret. I don't wanna sleep every night. I wanna light a spark in the dark. I don't wanna say I'm okay, living the same every day. Come run beside me, let's take off.
Something that I thought I really wanted to point out, and it's a mistake I see quite often when someone is drawing or painting a nose, is the shadows when it comes to the bridge of the nose. When we are drawing or painting a nose seen from the front. From the front, the bridge of the nose is never too evident. It's not two straight lines or two stark shadows on either side. You can see that in the first nose I painted. I barely hinted at it. Now, that is not always the case. Some noses have very prominent and bony bridges, and still you have to be careful not to make the shadow areas too dark on both sides, because that is not how noses really look like. The shadows are softer and tend to fade as they reach the planes of the cheek area. The areas where we do have more stark shadows are the lower sides by the nostrils and almost always under the tip of the nose.
All we need is difference. It's hard at this speed to see anything. Tell me what you need and I'll listen. 'Cause I don't wanna wait every night. I wanna light a spark in the dark. I don't wanna say I'm okay, living the same every day. Come run beside me, let's take off. Let's leave this place for another place.
And last, I drew and painted a nose in 3/4. This should be the hardest position because of the perceived lack of symmetry. So for example, one nostril will appear smaller than the other. But actually, by doing this whole exercise, I realized that once you've broken down the nose into simplified shapes, once you've understood the transition of colors from warm to cool tones within the nose and how the shadows behave, then it's not that difficult at all, either to paint or to draw the nose itself. I actually had a lot of fun doing this exercise, which is something I did not expect. It was really a break from my usual kind of thing that I paint. And I'm thinking of doing maybe the ears or other parts of the human anatomy, the feet, I don't know, would be really interesting as well, because it's just been so much fun. I wanted to apologise because I was late uploading the past couple of weeks, but I have been away on holiday. August is the summer holiday month here in Italy, and things are back on track now, even though my hard disk broke down yesterday and I thought I'd lost everything. But yeah, I managed to recuperate the footage, and so the video's up on a Wednesday, which is quite unusual. But things should be going back to normal, and I'm now in the process of editing the full-length narrated tutorial for this, which I upload to my $5 a month tier on Patreon with sketch outlines and reference images. And yeah, if you want to join it, it's down in the description box or on my cover page on YouTube. Otherwise, it would just be enough if you could like or leave a comment down below to let me know that you enjoyed this video, and so that we can get the algorithm to push it out to more people, and so more people will see it. Anyway, I will see you next week. Thank you so much for joining me, and bye for now.